Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Kollin at seductionpower.com. Okay, one thing I want to say right off the bat is Seduction Power literally puts seduction power into your hands. It's something you're going to have to learn, you're going to have to practice, you're going to have to develop, but you'll see it before you even finish the course. You'll understand why this is so powerful. Some of the skills and the patterns that I teach you, you'll be able to apply immediately and see the results. Alright, so today's video, I keep seeing all these videos about Savfk Khan and what she did. I'm not sure if I'm going to start there first. Let me think about this. Hold on. Okay, I lowered the volume a little bit there. Okay, I'm going to start here because I found this guy's video about Savfk Khan and I started to listen, but he went off on another tangent. And it's someone, his name is Rollo. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. His name is well, it's called The Rational Male. So I had a client, Kyle. He's from Utah. Now, he called me up after reading my book, and he's like, dude, he goes, something happened to me. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I do not know how to explain this, but my whole energy, now he's a religious person. He's a Mormon. He's not into energy healing or anything like that. He goes, it's like my heart opened up when I read your book. I'm like, yeah. So he was saying it was some kind of spiritual or energetic shift. I'm like, yeah. Because the reason why is because my energy goes into the words. Now, there's words that I'm using that will get you to open up to your right brain. That's completely another story we could talk about over the phone or in the session, okay? So he goes, all of a sudden, women are approaching me. They're talking to me. He goes, and I'm not doing anything. He goes, I just read your book. So he signed up. He came out from Utah out here to the Bay Area, California, took my course. And I don't remember, I think he mentioned this guy Rollo. And it wasn't until I think he went back home, and I don't remember if it was a month later or 2 months or I don't know. But he had sent me a copy of his book. He said, I really want you to read this. He goes, I forget what he said. I think something, I forget what he said. But I was kind of like, nah, I don't really need to read other people's books. You know, I'm meeting women love. He goes, no, because I think you'll like it. So I'm reading it. It's logical. It's linear. It's, scientific, mathematical. And I'm kind of bored and I'm reading. I'm like, yeah, well, logically it makes sense. But women are in the nonlinear system and linear logic, it's not going to work. So I read his book and I've watched him online a couple of times. I just don't. It's very negative. It's always, talking down, saying, oh, women this and women that. And I made a copy of something I want you guys to hear, and then I'm going to point something out here. I made a copy of him talking to some other people that he took clips of their videos, and I'm going to point some things out. Now, one thing I will say is when it comes to the divorce laws, the social rules about men and women, and a lot of the bullshit that's going on, I started teaching this back in '96. I actually started talking about it to my friends before that, but they were so brainwashed. I think we as a society, as men, were just so brainwashed into women are nice and made of sugar and spice and everything nice, that even a friend of mine who this girl completely cheated on him. He caught her. Everyone in the community knew about it. He was married to her, paid for everything. She didn't work, and she took him to the cleaners, man. She got the house, she got the car, et cetera, et cetera. So by the time the early '90s rolled around, I was seeing this stuff, and you couldn't talk to anyone about it because everyone would look at me like I was this social pariah. I'm like, well, I'm just pointing out what's going on, and we all knew that the divorce rate, it was a really big deal that the divorce rate was 50% within 2 years, that everyone that gets married gets divorced within 2 years. And in my mind, I'm like, there's just something wrong. Well, one thing I saw is the difference between men and women is men got divided a long time ago. So here's how it used to be. Women were at home alone, and the men would go out to the cafes and the coffee shops. Now, a client of mine who's from Iran, the Middle East, actually his parents are, he goes, well, Michael, it's still that way in my culture in the Middle East. Men are the ones that go out and they talk with each other. They share information. They help each other understand, like, how do you deal with your wife when she does this and that? And men used to teach their children, like, hey, here's how you deal with these situations. Well, in the Western society, that's no longer, and that hasn't been going on, well, beyond, I would say, it probably stopped around the mid 60s or late 60s. So by the time the 70s rolled around, men were essentially shamed not to talk with each other, not to meet in cafes and share information, because here's the deal: if you're communicating, you have power. All right, the number one thing you want to do in the military, you want to disrupt your enemy's communication. Listen closely. This is the number one goal, is to disrupt their communication. If you can do that, you're going to win the war. Period. End of sentence. Communication is massively valuable and important. It will win the war or it will lose you the war. It's the same thing in sports. Baseball. I remember my coach screaming, "You guys got to communicate. You got to let each other know what's going on." And I was a catcher. So the coach pulled me aside. He goes, "Michael, you're the anchor of the whole team." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Come here. Stand behind home plate." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You get the full view of every position, every runner on base." He goes, "You see everything that's going on. So if you see something like the outfielder's not in the right position, get him in position, call timeout, and tell him to move." He goes, "You're the lead person. You have to communicate." So long story, one thing I started to see around the mid 80s and after, now I was a kid, I was a teenager, is that men were being shamed to hang out with each other, to talk, to share information. And I knew right then, like, this is some evil shit. It just is evil. So then it became women's nights out and girls' tea time, and men had to stay home. "Oh, what do you hang out with your buddy? Are you guys gay or something?" And it was just the shaming and humiliation. As a society, we shame men. Now I understand this. I'm the godfather of this. I'm the one who was teaching this over 30 years ago. I was the one in the 90s who was saying, "Hey, the divorce court laws are completely, totally unfair for men." And men were the ones, "What's wrong with you? Are you a, what do they call it when male chauvinist pig?" I'm like, "No, I'm just saying it's not fair." Now, the one thing I give women credit for, 100% credit for, is they have lobbied together for a long, long, long time. They support each other. Not only do they work together, they get out there in the streets and they take action. They've gone to their senators. They've hired lawyers. They've created groups, powerful groups. They've added money together. They've hired lawyers. They've changed laws, and they've changed laws, and they changed laws, and they changed laws, and they never quit. Now, I'm talking about going back before 1900. Yeah, okay, women's suffrage and all that stuff. And even before that, going back before that. Women have been working together on every battlefield. Everyone. In the home, raising your boys to be a certain way. Making your husband stay home while you go out to cafes with your girlfriends, doing shaming, and also politically, legally, the people they vote for to change the laws, to hire powerful lawyers who are connected to senators and on. And I mean, on every single battlefield, women have been fighting a battle that men didn't even notice. And I was saying this to people. I was teaching this to my clients in 1996 and after, and a lot of my clients, some would just walk out. They were offended, like, "Why would you say that? Women are nice and made of sugar and spice and everything nice." "Oh, Michael, you're just, you're a misogynist." That's a word. "You're a misogynist." Now, this is men. I had a client come back about 12 years later, and he goes, "I wish I would have listened to you." I'm like, "Why?" He goes, "I got married." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "After the 11th year, she divorced me. She took everything." So here's my point, guys. Do not think that I'm some guy that's blindly walking down the road going, "Oh, women are nice and sugar and spice and everything nice." I do not fucking believe that. And believe it or not, but that song okay, if you're in America, we heard this as kids in preschool, kindergarten, first, second, third grade, fourth, fifth grade, all the time. Now here's the deal. It's a brainwashing tool, 100%. Because that's exactly how I felt about, "Oh, girls are nice and sugar and spice and everything nice." And I grew up thinking like, "Oh, they're so sweet." And they stab you and they stab you and they stab you and they stab you. And boys are made of puppy tails and snails and everything that's made of shit. And like literally, it's like maybe it's the last part I added. But the point being is girls are clean, sugary, sweet angels, and guys are fucking made of dead puppy tails and shit, and fucking they're horrible. This was part of the battle. Now, here's the deal. Men and women are positioned on the opposite battlefields. Men are linear and logical. And women are non-linear. They're in the open space. Men are in closed space. Women are open space. So as long as we are strangers, we are literally, listen to this word, aliens to each other, we're going to be on the battlefields. Because men want it their way because that's the way they see it. If you only see things from one perspective, well, you're going to think that that's right. And if the other side's going, well, no, this is the way we like it, you're going to think they're weird, something's wrong with them, and they must be fixed. So we have to change things in our favor. And that's the way we start looking at it. It's either or, right or wrong. And men bring this mentality to the table. And so women, after a while, like, well, no matter how much I try to reason with this guy, we can't get anywhere. So women started fighting for themselves. And I do not blame them. The shit they've been through, I don't blame them. Now, when I was pointing out how unfair the laws were for men and how they were getting worse and worse and worse, how women just kept lobbying and lobbying and lobbying for more and more laws in their favor, I would tell my friends and clients, and men didn't want to hear it. Men were happy being completely asleep in that linear tip of the V, sleepy, 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 until they got rapey in divorce court. And I've said dozens, hundreds of times over the years, men are not going to see it until it gets so bad, till this pendulum is swung all the way over. Because this is the thing about men. Men, for the most part, they don't want to deal with reality. That linear logic is in the box. It means you're hidden from reality. You hide behind your logic. And because of that, you've been punished. Men have been punished severely since the 70s. Men have been getting hammer effed. So as long as you position yourself on the opposite side of the battlefield, there's going to be a battle. Now, men are starting to wake up, and I support this because women took advantage of it, as most groups will do. When they see people, when they first start coming into power, they have any kind of success, their ego kind of gets out of control, and that's exactly what's happened with women. They took this to the fucking limit. If men don't stand up for themselves at this point in time, we're literally going to be slaves. I mean, technically we already are. So here's the deal. You will never beat women when it comes to the laws, when it comes to social rules, when it comes to marriage rules, laws, divorce, court. You're never going to win, and here's why. The female brain literally spins circles around the logical linear system. But if you learn how to open up to your right brain, boom, now you can see it. As long as you choose to stay blind, which when Jesus said you have eyes yet you cannot see, that's being stuck in the left brain. You can't see from that side, but when you open up to the right side, you can open up and see everything. You can see the games, the manipulation, and all the bullshit. And as I said in the video before, one of the weirdest things that I realized is like, wait, women actually like it. Because I thought when I started seeing things, women were like, oh shit, he can see it. Right? Instead, it was the opposite. Like, oh, you can see it. Like, fuck, I got one. I got a good guy. Not like a good guy, like a nice guy. I mean, like, this is a guy who's fucking smart. He sees aware. He sees what the fuck's going on. Women actually respect this. When you're blind, they don't respect you at all. Because you're afraid to wake up. You're afraid to open your eyes and see reality for the way it is. It's kind of scary at first. So now, number one, I do understand the divorce laws in most states in the United States are unfair to men. The laws are unfair to men. Women do a lot of, not all women, but there's a certain level of women that do really messed up things legally and otherwise. So here's the deal. Me and my friend Greg years ago, because he just went through a divorce. He was probably about a year out, maybe a little bit more, maybe 2 years. He was fucking pissed because she was cheating on him, using one credit card to pay for this one guy's rent. Yeah. And then the other credit card was paying for this guy's monthly car payment for a brand new sports car. And he was the one who was fucking paying those cards off. She didn't work. So when he found this out, he literally went up to Lake Tahoe, knocked on this dude's fucking door. Because one of our friends, Mike, lives up there and says, hey, Greg, he drove down from Tahoe all the way down to where we were living. And he was like, hey, man. And I was at Greg's house at the time when Mike came over. It's another Mike, another guy. And Greg flipped out, get the fuck off my porch, motherfucker. And fucking, I'm like, what the fuck is that? I don't want to talk about it. So he was fucking pissed. And so he drove up there and he came home one day and he's like, yo, you're not going to believe this. I knocked on this dude's door that Mike told me to go to, the address. I'm like, yeah, guess who answered? I'm like, him? He goes, no, my fucking wife. So he looked at bills and yep, sure enough, he's paying his fucking rent. I'm not kidding. And this other guy who's in Reno, Tahoe and Reno are fairly close. And so he was paying that guy's fucking car payment for over a fucking year. And at the time, my girlfriend was cheating on me left and fucking right. And oh my god, we were two angry fucking 20-some-year-old men. I think we were around 24, 25, maybe 26. We were just some angry dudes walking around town. People feared us. Like we were waiting for someone to do it because we were so hurt and we were so angry and our eyes had been ripped open. And you got to understand, I was benching 365. I was literally ranked #1 in the nation in kickboxing. I mean, I was like tough, rugged, fucking. And Greg was a sheetrocker. Those dudes are tough as fuck. And then and this dude fought a lot. He had a temper already as it was. Greg was known for, he used to fight on the job. I mean, this guy was insane. So here we were walking around with all this anger seething from us, and people were like, whoa, fuck. I'll give you one real life story. So Greg and I went to this club. We lived in Vacaville, so Fairfield's like a 7-minute drive or less right up the road. And it's the first exit you take, and right on the front of the road, there's this restaurant and a bar. And at nighttime on weekends, it turned into this country dance place. So we used to go there, I think it was Wednesdays or Mondays. And for some reason, we decided to go on like a weekend, like Friday or Saturday. Well, apparently they charged on the weekends. They never charged during the week. You could just walk in because they were trying to get people just to get in there to buy drinks and shit to make money that way. Now you gotta understand, I was a badass motherfucker. I went to state championships in wrestling. I was a state champion in boxing. I'm currently ranked #1 in the nation in the IKF and kickboxing. I mean, I'm a tough fucking dude. Greg was known for fighting since he was a kid. I mean, this guy was the real deal. This dude would throw down in a heartbeat. So we walk in, and I noticed there was this little opening, like a little round thing where they lift the thing and the girl would charge money. But I kind of walked up, and I looked like, hey, like, what are you doing? And she's, oh, I'm the one who charged them up. Oh, I didn't know that. Well, the fucking bouncer, he came up behind me, poked me in my tricep, not tricep, but the muscle that goes from your neck to your shoulder. I'm forgetting the name of it. He fucking poked it fucking really hard, and it fucking hurt. I was like, ow, fuck. And I thought it was my buddy Greg fucking around. And I looked at the dude. He's like, you go to fucking pay. And he starts yelling at me. I go, get the fuck out of my face. Greg walks up and puts his nose on his fucking cheek. Now this guy's got Greg on one side, and I'm right in front of the guy, and I'm fucking nose to nose with this fucking guy. And he was like, he froze, and the girl froze. I go, you know what, buddy? Go home. Tonight's your night off. I'm not fucking kidding. Fucking leave. We'll watch the fucking bar. The dude literally went home. That's what he gets for being a dick for no reason. It wasn't so much our size, because he was actually bigger than us. It was our anger. Here's the reason why I shared this, because Greg was not happy with women at this moment, and neither was I. So Greg said something that to this day is true. He said, now this wasn't that at that time. It was about another year later. Like it took us about 2 years to calm down. And he goes, Mike, because I forget what I asked him. I said, God, so are all women just fucked up and this and that? And I go, do they go into marriage just like, yeah, I'm going to fuck this guy over? He goes, some women do. Yeah, some women absolutely. They're like, oh, this guy's got money. I'm going to take advantage of him. He goes, they have no intention of loving them. It's not about love. It's like they want a financial security blanket. They want to marry, live a great life, and then take his money, have their own house and their monthly income for the rest of their life. That way they can fuck around and do whatever they want. And I go, so all women? He goes, no. He goes, Mike, it's not necessarily all women. He said, some women. He goes, maybe even 50%. He goes, I don't know what it is. But the point being, he goes, there are women. He goes, it's a fair amount that they're in love. They are fucking in love, and they have every intention of being a good woman, and, they're in love with him, and that's why they're marrying him. He goes, but you know what, Michael? People change over time. He goes, especially at our age. We're in our 20s. He goes, we're going to change for the next 20 years till we're 40 plus years old. He goes, then we kind of slow down. But everyone's constantly learning and growing and changing. He goes, Michael, people change. Like, okay. He goes, and next thing you know, they want a divorce. He goes, the problem is the divorce laws are so out of whack and unfair for men. We're screwed. He goes, Michael, you might marry someone who's absolutely in love with you and for 5, 6, 7 years loves you with all their heart and soul, has been totally faithful and totally good. Then boom, they're going through this process where they discovered something, they learned more, and they realize, well, wait a minute, this isn't what I want now. And he goes, and the sad part is, like, when they divorce you, you're the one that loses because of the divorce laws. And that is what needs to change. The divorce laws and the social laws, or social rules, etc., etc. Because, guys, not all fucking women enter this being the B word right off the bat. Some, yeah, probably 50%, maybe even more. But there are a lot of good women out there. Now, here's where I get my confidence. I have a greater understanding of the female system, the hormonal system, how it shifts, and every 7 years, they want to leave, and it's another. I made a video about that. Maybe I'll do it again. But here's the deal: the difference between me and other guys is, I talk to women all the time. Women approach me all the time. Women ask me out. Women will just give me their. Okay, I had someone leaving their phone number, and I have these pieces of paper still to this day. And this just happened about 3 months ago. She left me her freaking phone number and a note every fucking week for 5 weeks. She said she was too shy to talk to me in person, but we passed by each other or something. I'm like, for the life of me, I have no idea who the fuck it is. But my point being is, like, getting sex with women is fucking easy for me now. It didn't used to be when I was early in my 20s, and that was the thing. And you're thinking, why would you be with a girl that was cheating with you? Because I couldn't get any other girl. And that's when I was ranked #1 in kickboxing in the United States. Dude, I was all over the papers in my hometown. That's when I was freaking benching all this weight. I was in perfect shape. I was much better looking back then. I had a great car, a great job. In fact, here's the car. I was popular in my hometown and the whole valley and everywhere we lived, and that, because the whole area was kind of all close and combined. So everyone knew me. So I was popular, I was powerful physically, I was going to college, I had a great job, this literally is exactly what my car was, and it looked this beautiful. There wasn't a fucking scratch on it. And I was captain of the football team, wrestling team, went to the state championships in wrestling. We were section champions, the farthest you could go back then. Now they made a change, now you can go to the state championships, but they didn't have it back then. My point being is, all you guys keep saying it's about looks and it's about, being popular and being physically strong and, being like the jock and all that stuff. And let me tell you something, it didn't work for me. So I have to assume that you guys on this channel, you must be supermodels. I mean, you have to be it, because if looks has worked for you, I got to tell you, it didn't work for me. I had one girlfriend that treated me like dirt in high school. And then I didn't date for about 2.5, 3 years. I went to Chico State. Not a single girl would even fucking talk to me. I felt so fucking lonely. And then when I went back to Solano College, same thing. I remember that the third semester, I'm like, dude, I hadn't been on a date since high school. So now we are 4, 5 semesters into it. So this is over 2+ years. And actually it was more. I think it was like about 2.5, 3 years. Because I only think, when did I go? No, I went to Arizona State after Chico State, and I was out there for a year, and then I came back, and then I went to Solano College. So now we're talking about 4+ years. I hadn't even been on a single fucking date. I had a great looking car. It ran perfect. It was freaking peak. It only had 54,000 miles on it. My brother-in-law's mother perfectly took care of it. I mean, it looked exactly as clean as this car. I'm in shape. I'm ranked in the nation in kickboxing. I'm in the newspaper every couple weeks, and on and on and on. Everyone knew who I was. And like, I got to tell you something, it didn't work for me. And here's what happened. Me and the girlfriend she picked up on me in college. Here's the deal. She was not pretty at all. Her face on a scale of 1 to 10, I am so sorry, but she was like a 4.5, and I am not fucking kidding. I was with her for 8 years. You know why? I couldn't pick up on a chick for the fucking life of me. I remember when we started going with clubs with 2 of her friends, so 4 of us would go out. We would go to San Francisco, the city. I remember going to clubs feeling so alienated, so uncomfortable. Nobody would talk to me. Girls wouldn't talk to me. She would literally run into another room, another part of the club, and she'd go, wait here, and this is part of the game, right? And I'm sitting there, and like, no girls would talk to me. Nobody would fucking walk up to me. Even if I kind of walked over, like, they'd walk away, and like, dude, I am fucking telling you, I couldn't pick up on the girl for the life of me. And I remember her just talking to everyone. I felt so fucking, like, I guess lonely would be the word. You know what? I'm going to do the Saudi Khan in the next video, because I think this next thing is important. Now, here's what happened to me. I got so desperate. Now, here's the smart thing, though. I was studying NLP and going to all these 5-week trainings in Hawaii, Southern California, Costa Mesa, San Diego. I was doing the Tony Robbins things, and I'm reading NLP, Ericksonian hypnosis books like crazy. And I had already started my practice. God, I think I was 21 years old when I had my first ever client. Now, this was doing therapy using NLP, timeline therapy, Ericksonian hypnosis, and some other things. And I had spoke at Hewlett Packard 4 times. I had, they heard about NLP and they wanted to use it for their marketing, their sales team. So they had me come, and someone said, hey, I know this guy who's an NLP trainer. So they brought me in, and one of the first things I taught him was the predicate system. And I just happened to teach them the deep love strategy, which may not have to do with communication, but it's in alignment with the predicate system, so they could see it and be like, oh, okay. And then I taught them some other things, but here's the point. Before that girl in college picked up on me at Solana College, there was this other girl, and we had a class right across. There was a long table, and I don't remember what fucking class this was, but she sat right across from me. And I remember she had these crystal clear blue eyes. I mean, these were the prettiest eyes, and she had the cutest smile, and I really liked this girl. And of course, she wasn't that interested in me. Now, it was the whole, like, how do you say, you know how like girls like bring you out with the other guys, and so she would like kind of gather a group of friends. Like this one guy was from one of our other classes, and we all had lunch together. Me, her, him, and I think there was 2 other girls, something like that. And it was kind of one of those deals where like you just don't feel comfortable. And I think she kind of set it up on purpose to be kind of hurt you. It's not quite the word, but it definitely hurt. And so I didn't really like this guy. I didn't want to be here. I'm like, what the fuck is it? And she did it again. She was, hey, why don't you and me just go out and we'll go to the campus quad, the lunch cafe or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. And sure enough, a group of people were there. Oh, Mike, I want you to meet my friends. And that same dude was fucking there. And I'm like, fuck this. And so essentially she just stopped talking to me altogether. Like there was just nothing. And so after about 2 months went by, might have been more, might have been 3 months, but it was a little while. And she calls me up out of the clear blue sky. And I'm thinking like, okay, this is a little different. And I didn't think she had my number. I think she had to look it up in the phone book. Back then we had phone books. And, well, what's going on? She goes, well, Michael, and she gave me the whole, my boyfriend, I'm having problems with my boyfriend, blah, 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 right? And I'm thinking, no, you got to be fucking kidding me. I'm that guy. Here I am, ranked number 1 in the nation. All my coaches and, training partners think I'm this awesome guy, and, people at work and this and this and that, and done all this other shit, great car, making good money, and this bitch just treat me like that guy. Well, I was Mr. Empath, Mr. Compassionate, and I talked to her, but something happened. So she used the word communication, and that triggered me because NLP and Ericksonian hypnosis is all about communication patterns, okay? So I was like, really, what's going on? She goes, well, we just don't communicate, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, well, let me teach you something. She goes, well, what do you mean? I go, get out a pen and paper. So she's on the other phone on the other side of town. She goes, oh, okay. Like, well, write down visual, then go down a couple lines, write down auditory, and then go down and write down kinesthetic and then auditory digital. So I taught her the predicate system. And as I'm walking it through, she goes, oh, he does that all the time. I go, yeah, you're sorry. Sorry, I sneezed. And she goes, and I'm like, you're speaking 2 different languages. This is why you feel like you're missing. She goes, oh my God. And like this blew her mind. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but I was triggering her mating system because I was talking about communication, not just being Mr. Logical. So then I taught her the deep love strategy. Now here's the deal. I'm just thinking, I'm feeling good. I'm teaching her something. Maybe I'll get a client. Maybe she'll refer someone, or, who knows, down the road. And I'm feeling awesome because she's like, wow, this is really cool. And then I taught her the deep love strategy. And she was like, oh. And her tone changed. But being Mr. Dumbass Male, I didn't really, I noticed it, but I didn't think anything of it. Didn't really notice it. So her voice did soften up and it did change. And she's like, well, what are you doing right now? Now it was about 4:00 in the afternoon. I'm like, nothing. I go, I've already got my homework done. I've done this, done that. Don't have work today, so I'm just gonna, eat some dinner or something. She goes, well, is it okay if I come over so, we can continue talking? And I was like, now desperate me was like, Yeah, sure. Right? So she's all like bubbly eyes or with puppy eyes, and she came to my door, opened it up. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, she was Miss Sensual all of a sudden. Now, she was not like this to me at all. She was just this cold, had the wall up the whole time, every time I talked to her. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? So we ate dinner and we were talking and stuff, and then she led me into the bedroom, and next we're making love, and I'm thinking, whoa, what the fuck? I'm thinking, what the fuck happened? So desperate me was smart enough to don't ask questions, Mike. Shut the fuck up. Don't fucking blow it. It's going good. Just go with it. Now, mind you, I was in college, so I don't remember. I remember 2021, something like that. Something like maybe a year earlier, a year later. So regardless, I'm fucking happy as fuck. And she goes, okay, well, I see you at school tomorrow. And she's all like happy and shit now. I'm like, oh, okay, And she's all happy at school, and we went to lunch together, and everything was fucking wonderful. And then we go on a date, and then we went to Walnut Creek, and then we went down, where did we go? We went somewhere down south. And we're having all this great time. And after about a month or so, I said, what happened? She goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, I mean, you were the ice queen. I didn't use that word, but you weren't, nothing. No matter what I tried, you just didn't. She goes, well, I know. And I'm like, what happened? She goes, well, it's that thing you did. I'm like, what thing? Now, she goes, well, that thing. And now I got to be honest with you. I'm thinking, God damn it, tell me what the fuck this thing is so I can do it with other women, right? Or in case I lose you, right? And so she goes, well, that day on the phone. I'm like, what day on the phone? Because at the time, I had no idea why she came over. I just thought, literally, I just got lucky. Now, at the time, I didn't know anything about the mating system for women being a nerve curving off to the right brain's communication center. I had no fucking clue. And so she says, well, that day when we talked, when you taught me that stuff, I'm like, well, what about it? She goes, well, it made me feel good. I'm like, now I can tell she's being sensual. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, I really like that stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I was like, I didn't know why she liked it and why it triggered her to have sex with me, but I thought, well, there's something to this. So I'm kind of happy inside. I'm not really sure what's going on, but I'm definitely going to start teaching women this stuff everywhere I go. And it worked again. So her and I dated for a while, but then I forget what happened. I think the semester ended. I don't remember what happened. I think I moved away. Let me think. Something happened. I never saw her again. So regardless of what happened, I started doing this with other women, and they showed interest. Now, they never had sex with me, but they showed interest, and the conversation lasted long, and they enjoyed the conversation. So then I thought, okay, I know what I'm going to do. I started making flyers because I couldn't figure out, how do I get more customers? So I started making flyers, dating and relationship coach, learn how to communicate with women, learn how to turn women on, learn blah, blah, blah. And essentially it was all based on these two systems. That was it. So back in 1992 or 93, I'm putting up flyers at UC Davis, Sacramento State, Chico State, Solano Junior College. I'm trying to think where else. I went to, what is that one in Hayward State, San Francisco State, University of San Francisco. I was going everywhere. And I went and made these 4x6 glossy cards. I paid all this money for them, had this message on there, and I'm putting them in cars' windows at the fucking mall. Trying to get business, and of course I didn't get any business. Actually, I shouldn't say any. I did, but it was like one person a month. I mean, it was fucking slow. But I'm feeling good. I was like, all right, man, I got some clients, on a regular basis versus the one therapy client every other month or something like that. Okay, maybe it wasn't that bad, but I wanted more business. So maybe it's once a week, but I wanted more business. So the point of this whole segment I just shared with you, it triggered something in me. I thought, this is my way. This is how I'm going to start dating women. Because I wanted to be the guy, because I didn't want to have this one girlfriend that treated me like shit and had no options or possibilities. I wanted to date different women. I wanted to be able to go out with other women, and this was my out. This was the door that opened for me, and I went down this fucking path. I read every, oh my God, my haircutter shoes. You want to learn about women? You need to read romance novels. If it wasn't for my background in neurolinguistic programming, I wouldn't have picked up on the patterns. There are patterns inside those romance novels that I will teach to you and show you clearly that you can begin to use in your conversations with women. Nope, it's not memorized lines, not memorized opens. It's a way of formulating language. What about the stuff that I created, the male to female communication stuff?
Yeah, that's getting me to understand about a new language.
Right. So you've let me know overall you've actually taken quite a lot of other courses over the years and read a lot of books.
Yeah.
How does my course compare to those? And he's taken some of the top in the world, some of the top people. In comparison to those, go from there.
I mean, it's given me it's like the Matrix of pussy. Because, you're understanding how to communicate on a much, much deeper level.
Would you say the other courses did that for you?
Not at this level, no.
Not even close.
Because you've just got lines and stuff. Well, this is actually a way of formulating language.
Right. Would you say? So I've got one quick thing to say after this. So beyond a shadow of a doubt, this is why I got good at picking up on women, meeting women, talking to women. I mean, honestly, I'm so comfortable around women now. It's at this point, it's effortless. And it wasn't because of my looks. It wasn't because I was a kickboxing champion or football champion or captain of a high school wrestling team. Like, that shit never worked for me. And you guys are like, oh, it's because you got to be good looking and have a nice car. None of that worked for me, guys. None of it. That is just delusional thinking. It's because you're a male. You're projecting your visual way of being onto women. Women mating systems curves off to the right brain's communication system, and that's how she gets triggered sexually, is through a hidden right brain language that I finally discovered and I'll teach to you. Now, there's a master core secret that I learned from Buddha Kam. This is Buddha Chandi, by the way, the guy on the right. That's not the one. It's a different temple. It was Stockton. He was doing something with me to open me up to my heart, and he kept doing it every time I would go there. And because I'd studied Huna, and because I'd studied rapport skills in Hawaii and NLP trainings, I figured out, because I was like, what is he doing to me? And I couldn't, it was an energy thing. And because I knew enough, I was like, oh, I got it. And this is what I started doing with myself. And boom, because whenever I was in that state, like call it being open-hearted, women would just flock to me. They would just talk to me. And this is one of the things I'm going to do with you. So a lot of techniques I learned from Buddhist monks. That's it, guys. If you're really serious about taking the next step, buy my book, Crack the Female Code, or get the Ultimate Package, which has Crack the Female Code, my other book, Get the Girl, Keep the Girl, Sex Signals, and the bonus section, which is the internal language. It's a list of words to start getting your brain to start looking for it. It's not the whole package, but it gets you going, prepares you for the course. Alright guys, that's it. If you liked this video, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.